Marina Bay hosted a Grand Prix that briefly ran in the 60s and 70s, but the Garden City re-entered the calendar for good in 2008. We missed it for a couple of years, but it was great to come back to the Singapore Grand Prix. And here's our track, 4.94 kilometres long, and overtaking chances into the first corner, into turn 14 at the end of the Esplanade, and now into turn 16 in the newly reprofiled sector that we first ran on in 2023. Still though, it's punishing and tough on the brakes, and the heat and humidity will take an effect on our drivers. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri and Leclerc, Antonelli, Tsunoda, Stroll and Liam Lawson, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Alex Albon and Hadjar, Behrman, Ocon, Pierre Gasly and Jack Doohan. Hulkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And alongside me in the commentary box today, former racing driver herself, Naomi Schiff. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What are the final hours look?
Okay, be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. We can now use DRS. DRS now available. Watch out for understeer in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as quickly as you can. Push, push. Brilliant, nice move, keep going. car behind started to drop back. There's a gap beginning to form. Let's make the most of it. Okay, this is your final lap of the race. And gap to the car in front, 1.6 seconds.
Oh, okay, I did not expect that.
finish and the best on the track. It's George Russell who wins.
And it's one thing to win, but to win like that in total dominant style, that was a fantastic drive, and it is not one that we see very often.
It's time for our podium celebrations. And as ever in Formula One, 3 is the magic number. By George, he was good today. The top step awaits for George Russell. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.